Several years ago, in fact, I think it was 1998, Spencer Johnson wrote a little book called Who Moved My Cheese? And it's a story, it's a fictional modern day parable about two mice and two little people that are about the size of mice. They live in this maze and they have this mission, and it's to locate cheese and consume it. Sounds like a great idea. But it takes them a lot of time to find the cheese because they're wandering through a dark maze and they're sniffing for hints to follow the trail. Finally, they find Station C, and that's where the cheese is. And each day they return. Now, the mice sniff and scurry, do more than just eat cheese. Each time they start measuring, and they see that the amount of cheese is decreasing and decreasing. And they believe that this amount of cheese can't last forever. Well, the two little people, Hem and Haw, believe that the cheese will be there forever and that they deserve it. They even um, they become very sure of themselves. They ignore what is happening as this cheese supply depletes in front of their eyes. The two mice knew that the cheese wouldn't last forever, so they start looking for more cheese, while Hem and Haw become confused and upset and complaining that someone had moved their cheese. Now, Sniff and Scurry, the mice, they pursue and they find more cheese as Hem and Haw are stuck wondering what happened to their cheese. Hem and Haw decided to sit and wait it out. They thought whoever took their cheese would eventually bring more and life would return to normal. I guess they didn't understand you need to work for what you get. Well, finally, Haw comes to his senses and decides, I'm going to go look for some new cheese. Hem stays behind. For him, it's a matter of principle. He'd rather wallow in his misery and starve to death than swallow his own pride and move on. So at first, life is hard for Haw. It isn't easy finding new cheese, and what he learns is there is new cheese to be found if you're willing to admit that the old cheese is gone, is not coming back, and if you're willing to leave the security of your past and venture out into the unknown, you will find it. Well, in visiting with some of my older friends, we often talk about how the good old days or how things have changed over time, how things are not like they used to be. Now, in my lifetime, I've seen a lot of changes in the ways that we listen to music. We used to buy record albums and come and play them on a phonograph or on a stereo system that was very large. Now our stereo systems are very small. But we went from record albums to 8-track tapes to cassette tapes to compact disc players to MP3 players. And now we just stream it live. We don't have to go out and buy it. We buy it online. We've seen changes in cars. We've seen changes in the way we get transportation. We've seen changes in the ways that news is conveyed to us. Once upon a time, there were newsreels, and you heard about something going on maybe a week or 2 weeks after it had happened. Now it is live and instantaneously. Uh, so there are no delays. Once upon a time, the computer used to put the man on the moon was the size of a warehouse, maybe. But now we have computers on our desk. We have computers that we carry, and we also call them a phone. Um, Growing up, you might have experienced party lines. I remember us having a phone on the wall, and it had a cord. And one of the big advances for us was when we got the longer cord where you could reach the stove, the sink, and the phone all at the same time. Now, what do we have? We have phones we carry in our pockets, and the only cord attached to them is when we need to charge it. Many of us don't like change. We want things the way they used to be. In the church, I think the only people that like change are babies and those close enough to smell them. But I want to take you to this place about change. In John chapter 2, Jesus and the disciples, they're invited to a wedding feast. And when they arrive, Jesus' mother comes up to him and says, hey, they've run out of wine. And Jesus says, hey, why are you telling me? My time's not yet come. But I believe she believed that he could do miracles even before he did very many miracles. Jesus told the servants, go get 6 jars. Jesus' mother says, do whatever he says. But he says, go get 6 jars and fill them with water. And they Bring back these jars that hold 20 to 30 gallons, and when they start to pour them out, it is not water that's being poured out, it is wine. Instantaneous change. In John chapter 2, verse 10, it says, everyone brings out the choice wine first, but then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best until now. This was Jesus' first miracle recorded in Scripture. What I love about the miracles, it shows how the old is gone and the new has come. He took what was old and familiar and gave it new life and meaning and purpose. It shows that if Jesus can transform water into wine, can't he transform us if we will let him? It was in the late 1500s, like 1577, 1579, that St. John of the Cross wrote this poem called The Dark Night of the Soul. And in it, he talks about how the things that we have used to feed ourselves spiritually get to this place where they don't feed us spiritually anymore. And pardon me, what that means we need to do is Jesus calling us, seek me in a different way. Don't always do what you've always done. Find new ways to seek me. Maybe you change the order. Maybe you change the devotion that you're used to. Maybe you read scripture in a different way. But God is calling us to seek him in a different manner than what we've done before. Now, here's the question. How does that relate to cheese? Well, there are new things about God for you to experience, and you will only find them if you will seek him, because he promises that if we seek him with all of our heart, we will find him. And we need to admit, old cheese isn't coming back. Our old methods are not going to give us what we're seeking so badly. Some things we've become too comfortable with. And we get so comfortable with what we know that it can be dangerous. You've heard it said, if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got. So let me ask you this. Are you willing to follow Jesus' mother's advice? Do what he says? Because if you do, you will find something even better being poured out of you because you've sought what is the very best.